Yo, what's up, guys? Right now, you guys are watching the screencast of the lesson that you'll be doing on Monday, August 18th, and Tuesday, August 19th, that will go through the Wednesday, August 20th. Now, this lesson is all about life. In your table of contents, this is for what is life. You guys should already have the beginning filled out because you're watching this about halfway through the period. Alright, so we go down. This is where we leave off. This is the last slide we talk about, the 7 characteristics of life. Then you break up into your stations. You have the direct instruction, which you have to complete before you do the other 2 stations. This allows you to finish watching all the rest of this material so you have it down. You can watch this on your iPad or on the laptop. Alright, so let's start. 7 characteristics of life, all living things. First off, all living things are composed of cells. This we talked about. We learned about this in the reading. Living things have different levels of organization. We're going to cover that in Unit 1. I don't know why it doesn't say that, but with that said, it will be in Unit 1. Living things use energy. We will learn about that in Unit 1. Living things respond to their environment. We will learn about that in Unit 1. That one makes a lot of sense. What happens when you're sleeping and the sun comes and hits your face? Or someone turns on the light? You wake up. You're responding to your environment. When your environment changes, you respond. Living things grow, Unit 2. Living things reproduce, Unit 2, and living things adapt to their environment, that's evolution, and that's Unit 4. Let's continue on. This first question, why isn't a wooden door alive? You're about to answer this in your educanon. First off, a wooden door cannot reproduce, interesting. Wooden door is made from a tree, this is true. A wooden door is hard, this is also true. And a wooden door is not made out of cells, that's just not true. But why is it not alive? We go back and we see here that all living things are capable of reproducing. Can a door make other door babies? Didn't think so. The answer here is A. A wooden door cannot reproduce. Why isn't fire alive? Fire doesn't use energy. That's not true. Fire releases energy. Fire can't grow. Have you ever seen a fire go out of control? It grows as it gets more and more wood to burn. Fire is hot. This is true, but that doesn't make anything alive. It's D. Fire does not have cells. And remember, this is important. Number 1, in bold, all living things are made from cells. Alrighty, so next up, we are going to talk about what is an organism. Organisms are things that possess all the characteristics of life. Anything that's alive is an organism. That means they have all 7 characteristics from this list. And this you need to remember, you'll be doing an activity later on it. So they have all 7 of these characteristics, and if it has those 7 characteristics, it's alive. An organism could be as small as 1 cell by itself, like in bacteria, or 100 trillion cells, like in us. So what are cells? You guys are familiar with this. You guys should have seen this in elementary school, maybe even talked about it last year with Miss Yamamoto. But cells are the basic and smallest unit of life. All life forms are made out of cells. If it's alive, it has cells. Make sure you box cells because it is green. 2, common properties of cells. All cells are made up of DNA. We're going to learn a lot about DNA next unit in genetics. DNA is what makes you you. Everybody has different DNA, which means that everyone is different. All cells are enclosed or surrounded by a cell membrane. Now that's a huge piece, a very important organelle that we're going to talk about later on next week. So membranes, they surround the cell, they keep good things in, and they keep bad things out. They're the protection, they're the security guard. They make sure that if it's inside the cell, it belongs there, and if it doesn't, it's not coming in. They are the police officer, the border patrol. They make sure that nothing comes in or leaves that isn't supposed to. Cells can grow, divide, and reproduce. That's important. Because if you remember, an important characteristic of life is that all living things reproduce. Number 6. Alright, some questions. Which of the following is not true? A, all cells are surrounded by a membrane. B, cells are the basic unit of life. Whoops. Humans are made out of cells, and everything on our planet is made out of cells. We know humans are made out of cells. We know cells are the basic unit of life. We know all cells surrounded by a membrane, but everything on the planet is not made out of cells. Plastic, not made out of cells. Rocks, not made out of cells. Metal, not made out of cells. Only things that are living on planet Earth are made out of cells. Which of the following is a living organism? A house, can't reproduce, not made out of cells. Star, not made out of cells. Ants, made out of cells. iPad, not made out of cells. Which of the following is not a living organism? Bacteria, even though it is only one cell, it is a living cell. A wooden desk, even though desks are made out of wood and wood comes from trees, a wooden desk cannot grow and it cannot reproduce. So a wooden desk is not alive. A rabbit could reproduce, a mosquito could reproduce. Both rabbits and mosquitoes are made from cells. So here are some pictures of cells. These are red blood cells. They carry the oxygen to your muscles. This is a bone cell, and right there inside the middle is what makes those red blood cells. So these guys right here come from the bone cells. Who knew it? Without bones, you wouldn't have blood. Adipose, or fat cells. So this is what the cells look like that make up fat in your body. Now, fat can be healthy, but if you have too much, it's unhealthy. But fat cells are very normal, and they're found throughout your entire body, around or underneath your skin, around your muscles, in between different organs, connective tissue sometimes have fat cells in it. So fat cells, not necessarily a bad thing, but that's what they look like. Muscle cells. Muscle cells are very important for movement, very important for the ability for your heart to beat, and also for digesting so you can get food through your body. And this is what muscle cells look like. This is a bacteria prokaryote. Now when you see cells like this, very rarely do animal cells or plant cells have tails like that, the flagella. They also have these little other wave-like things, these things called pili. Those things are very characteristic of bacteria, and we'll learn more about them later. Also notice that on the inside, there's just a whole bunch of the DNA floating around that's very different. We'll talk about that soon. And here's some E. coli cells. An example of a bacteria cell that causes some pretty bad stomach aches, and in the past used to kill a lot of people. All right, let's check out this video real quick.
Everything that lives is made of cells, even us. Although we can't see them, trillions of cells within our body work together to give us the gift of life. These tiny units of life fascinate biologists like Boyce Rensberger.
The entire human body is made out of cells, or the things the cells have made, such as bone. Skin is made of cells, your heart is made of cells, the muscles that operate the body so that you can move, these things are all made of cells, including the brain itself, which sends electrical signals around from one cell to the other so that we can think. All these different kinds of cells work fundamentally the same way. When you look inside the cell, you see the same kinds of structures.
Cells come in all sorts of sizes and shapes. They're so small that we need a microscope to see them. Inside of every eukaryotic cell is a microscopic factory that runs off chemical reactions. At the center, the nucleus acts as the cell's brain and controls its activities. It also holds the DNA, the instructions for life. The cell's membrane protects each cell and takes in the raw materials it needs to stay alive. Water, nutrients, and waste move into and out of the cell all the time. These materials may hitch a ride along the cell's transport network, a network made up of microtubules and intracellular membranes. The cell's transport network picks up, transports, and delivers material throughout the cell. The cell breaks down raw materials into the building blocks it needs to grow. This ability to take in vital materials allows the cell to function and perform specific tasks.
The instructions that are in the cells, starting in embryonic development, tell each cell how to change to take on a new function. Also, the cells monitor the activities going on. If there's a wound, the cells can sense that, and they will send out the message to other cells to come and repair the damage. So all of this keeps the whole body on a kind of an even keel.
Our cells work together in extraordinary ways. The heart, for example, is made up of muscle cells with a tendency to twitch. Separately, they twitch to their own rhythm, but together they beat as one. Millions of them work together to give us a heartbeat. These muscle cells survive as long as we do, but throughout the body, cells die and get replaced all the time. Our body produces new cells through mitosis, the process where one cell divides into two. Since we're constantly losing and replacing cells, most cells in our body are actually younger than we are.
Wasn't that a great video? Don't worry, we will watch that video again later and have more questions about it. Now, what I want to make sure that everybody's done is you filled out your guided notes. So at this point, you should have all of these blanks filled in with the information, and you're ready to summarize what you learned for the day. So it's time to write this summary and then also fill in the L column from your KWL chart telling me what you learned today. You can get some of that information from your summary down here. Very simple, not a big deal. You guys got it. Good job.